This morning, I am thinking about this phrase, renounce and enjoy. Really famous phrase from the Isha Upanishad, an ancient text that many of the more modern or contemporary gurus or teachers have riffed upon and sort of made their mantra. Gandhi famously really loved this phrase and considered it his sort of his guide. So I've been kind of sitting with and chewing on this phrase, renounce and enjoy. And I've been finding myself returning to these old texts. The Bhagavad Gita, which I'm teaching for a teacher training down here and returning to recently, includes a lot about this theme. Krishna is talking to Arjuna, right, in the Bhagavad Gita and giving him guidance. And he comes back to this idea again and again and again of act, do what you got to do, but renounce the fruits of those actions. He even uses a phrase in the Bhagavad Gita, let go of being the doer, which reminds us a lot of the Tao Te Ching, right, which we were all focused on earlier this year. There's a lot in there about not being the doer. It's amazing to me that these texts and these passages and even just a little phrase, that I can return to these year after year and still be gaining so much more. But yeah, that's how they are, right? So I just have a couple of reflections that have come out of this kind of study of this phrase and the study of these, this return to these texts in the context of what does this mean, renounce and enjoy? I realized that when I was younger and I encountered that phrase, or I encountered really any theme that was about renunciation, part of me sort of bristled. I was taking it all a little too literally or too black and white, and thinking of renunciation and enjoyment as being opposites in a way, right? That I think of renunciation as something that you do that brings you into a sort of scarcity place. You think of what we call a renunciate, somebody who gets rid of all of their belongings and goes and lives in a cave with a loincloth and forgoes comfort. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna very clearly again and again tells Arjuna, his student, you got to eat, you got to take care of yourself. He says, don't torture yourself, right? Don't renounce whatever it is that you need to be healthy. And Arjuna himself gets confused along the way and says, what are you saying? Right? It's a long text. So Krishna's giving him like all this different advice. And it seems contradictory, like renounce and enjoy does. Krishna's like, Krishna reveals the truth of of Arjuna's true nature, which is the truth of your true nature and my true nature, right? Which is that we are the ultimate reality. That underneath everything about us that's temporary or false or partial, there is a wholeness and a realness and a completeness that has lasted forever and that will never fade. That is our Brahman nature or our Krishna nature, our Buddha nature, enlightened nature that is more real than anything else about us. Krishna reveals this to Arjuna, and then he gives him advice for life from sort of different angles of the yoga teachings. He says, do selfless service, give everything away, He says, do meditation. You have to meditate. He says, practice wisdom. He says, essentially like the Tao Te Ching does, and these other texts that I love so much, that rather than seeing a world of dual opposites, right? Like I was looking at renounce and enjoy, instead of looking around the world and seeing sort of either or, look around the world and see that everything here is paired with its opposite. That everything here is in cycle and in partnership with its opposite. Like day and night are in partnership. Allow yourself to renounce not every possession that you have, not every action, right? And that renunciates are also famous for renouncing their roles, right? In society, they walk away from society. They say, okay, even if I'm a father or a grandfather or an aunt or whatever it is, I'm leaving those relationships. I'm renouncing them so that I can go and meditate. And Krishna is telling Arjuna, don't renounce like that. That's not your Dharma. That's not your path. That's not your way. You are a person in the world. What you renounce is the ego and its will to control the present moment. Its stories that there's something better than this present moment. You renounce the desire to own what you are, in a way. There's no owner anymore because you're Brahman, right? Ownership makes no sense in that context. In the Bhagavad Gita, he says that if you don't say thank you every day for the gift of a body, heart, and mind, for the gift of life, then you're a thief. that this. So it's like, if I can renounce the idea that I'm in charge of or the owner of any of it, right? That's what I'm renouncing. I'm renouncing a particular kind of relationship with life that says that I'm in control of it in a particular kind of way, right? In that ego will way. We're told that because of the way that the universe works, basically there are infinite centers to the universe. And that In this way, every conscious being is the center of the universe. But a kind of narcissistic, egoic way of thinking about that would be, I'm the only center of the universe. But here's the deal: to really be the center of the universe and to be aligned in that way, we have to give up being the only one who's the center, right? You are a center just as much as I am, not more or less. Humans like their hierarchies and power structures where some are more or less deserving. But according to the universe, no. Every conscious being is Brahman. And if you want to be Brahman too, give up that little part of you that wants to own it, wants it to be egoically captured and held like a trophy. Once we really renounce that, what we get to enjoy is so beyond the pleasure of grasping something in ownership. So the irony is that once we really get renunciation, it's actually the very act that lets us ungrip our suffering. Because what happens when you actually get the trophy, right? I won the race. I got the trophy. I got the best time. What does that mean? That means that next time you go to train, you're going to be disappointed at a time that's less than that, right? When next time you come in second place, that's going to feel like pain, right? So every time that we get a new pleasure in this realm of grasping and duality and winners and losers, it just ups the ante. It just makes it harder to have that pleasure again. It raises the bar and actually increases our pain for later, if that's what we're actually after, right? And explore, renounce, and enjoy. That's your homework for the rest of the day and week. And see for yourself the ways that sometimes um, that if we can't sort of make room for that duality, that we can trap ourselves in the cycle of opposites of pain and pleasure. Chasing pleasure literally brings pain. Avoiding pain literally, right? Avoiding pain will literally bring it to our door. Um, Play around with what renounce can mean. Play around with what you can ungrip and let go of, right? In meditation, what's keeping you from just enjoying resting as awareness while sitting with, a few of your friends online? You probably have to renounce whatever the ideas are about what should be different. And just play with this for yourself, explore it for yourself, and see the ways that if we can like let go of that desire for, the marshmallow right this second, and not in like a harsh or a self-flagellating or beating yourself up kind of way. The texts are really clear about this. You're Brahmin. Don't beat yourself up. That's ridiculous. Don't be mean to yourself. The renunciation isn't punishment. It is the preparation for joy. The last thing that I want to say to everyone this morning is the text of the Bhagavad Gita. It takes place within this much, much, much bigger epic called the Mahabharata, right? And the Bhagavad Gita is really just this beautiful teaching where Arjuna, who's this kind of top warrior in this battle, his charioteer and friend and kind of mentor, Krishna reveals himself as the deity, as God, and gives him all this amazing advice. And I've been reflecting lately on how much in my life, on my path, so many of the most profound teachings and awakening moments, and really so many of the most beautiful moments where I felt access to great love and wisdom, so many of those moments for me have happened in a moment of challenge and crisis. And in the context for the Bhagavad Gita is, this is the day of greatest challenge and crisis in Arjuna's entire life. This is the worst day of his life. He woke up and went, oh my God, today I have to go to battle against my own teachers, mentors, friends, cousins, relatives. That's the context for this. This is an enormous battle where no matter what happened, whether Arjuna's side had victory or defeat, he would be grieving at the end of that day hard if he's alive himself. This is not a day he wants to live. This is a day of anxiety and depression. This is a dark, terrifying day. And, I think so much of my life, I've had this idea that I would get to this peaceful place and then I'd get enlightened, right? I would get all of my ducks in a row and get everything squared away, and then I would, just have this perfect day, right? And on the perfect day, I would get perfectly enlightened. But I take actually a great amount of comfort in this teaching that of the Bhagavad Gita, that God comes and arrives and guides us and reveals himself as our very best friend and comforts us and holds us in enormous compassion and shows us our true self on the darkest days. And that expecting for our spiritual progress and process to all happen over here in the light, and that the bad parts of life happen over here in the dark, right? It's just false. It's just denying the unity of things, and again, that bigger connection between anything that looks like opposites, anything that seems like duality. Sorry, if there's dark here, there's light here too. There's light here, there's dark here too. And Brahman, God, as Krishna tells us again and again, and it's in that Isha Upanishad that says renounce and enjoy, he says again and again, Brahman, love, wisdom, whatever you want to call it, the heart of the universe, truth is in the heart of every being. It is present in every experience. You can't get away from it. Krishna is always here in the center of you. And if we can just let go of our ideas that things should be a certain way, all light or all easy, we can discover that guidance and wisdom and love that actually is right here. Thank you so much for being with me this morning. That's the end of this talk. But Judy says we should definitely post this one. Good. Yeah, letting go of the outcome, Bill. Letting go of the fruits of your action, and just, for me, it really helps to remember what it is that I am in charge of, and to enjoy, right, as best I can, that I get to do my part and know where that stops, know where that ends, and let universe take the rest, for sure. Okay. All right, everybody, have a great day, have a great week. And if you're seeing this or listening to this, just go ahead and post any comments that you have here below. Thank you.